Welcome back to TheeMuses. I am your girl, Jenica Muse, and thank you so much to everybody that's tuning in, all of our new subscribers, everyone that's sharing, commenting, and supporting our channel. Thank you so much. So, y'all asked for it, and here it is. I am dropping the story on Marie Laveau. Now, some people may have heard of Marie Laveau or know already who she is, or maybe you don't, but some people also may know about Marie Laveau because of American Horror Story. I want to say it's season 3, Coven specifically. The best, the only, Angela Bassett played an amazing Marie Laveau. And so the character that she embodied was the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. And that's who we're going to talk about. So I am not an expert. I've done my research, and this story is based off of my opinion on who I think Marie Laveau is, who she was, what she was doing, and how she got the name that she has, the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. So if y'all are excited to hear this story, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel, and let's just get right into it. And I just want to say that this is going to be a series, and I'm not exactly sure what I should call this, but drop some suggestions down below in the comment section. I want to know, what do you guys think I should call this? It's not always going to be about witches or mysterious or mystic people, but it could be. And I have a few ideas, but I want to know what's your suggestions. So comment down below, let me know what you think, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so Marie Laveau. Okay, let's just break it down into sections. So first of all, let's start off from the beginning. Who is Marie Laveau? Where did she come from? Who her family? All of that stuff. It already starts out mysterious because nobody even knew when she was actually born. I don't know if she was born in 1794 or 1801, but some people say that, some people say the other one. So we just gonna say she was born in the early 1800s, so 1801. She was born to an African woman, Marguerite d'Arkentel, who was the mistress to Charles Laveau, who was a wealthy mulatto businessman. Now, the fact that her mom was a mistress already tells me that Charles was probably married and he had sex with Marie's mom, Marguerite, and she got pregnant. And she was also the first generation of her family to be born free, meaning she was not a slave. She was a free woman to go do as she pleased, make however much money she wanted to make. But the sad thing is, well, I don't know if it may have been sad to Marie, but after her mom, Marguerite, gave birth to Marie, she left Marie with her grandmother, which was Marguerite's mom, and went back to her relationship with Charles. So she was like, okay, yeah, we had this baby. There you go. You can have her mama take care of her, raise her. And I'm going to go back to my man because, I mean, maybe she was okay with her situation. You know, maybe she was okay being a mistress or the side piece. But she wasn't letting Charles go. She said, no, I need some more of that wealthy mulatto man. In the mid-1700s, Marie's great-grandmother came to New Orleans from West Africa as a slave. So that's why I said she was the first generation of she was the first generation of her family to be born free. Then her grandmother, which is Marguerite's mom, Catherine, was bought by a free woman of color. So yes, back then people of color was purchasing slaves and, had them in their house. But Catherine was like, okay, this all sweet and dandy. I mean, yeah, my mama might have did that, but she was like, you're not finna keep me a slave. So eventually, Catherine did buy her freedom and built herself a small home in the French Quarter where Marie did live and became the Voodoo Queen. So when her mom left her with Catherine, which was her grandmother, that's where they lived. They lived in Catherine's house that she worked hard and bought for herself. So don't get it twisted. Catherine was a working woman. She said, y'all not gonna keep me chained up. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna buy my house and I'm gonna take care of my child. All right, so now that we've tackled who Marie is and where she came from and her backstory, now let's get into the Voodoo Queen herself. So on August 4th, 1819, Marie married Jacques Paris, who was a free person of color. And surprisingly, even though Marie's father didn't marry her mom, he did sign her marriage contract to Jacques, saying that, I signed here saying that, yes, my daughter can marry this man. And this was in July 1819. So before their wedding in August, they had the marriage contract signed in July. So, I mean, maybe he just didn't want to marry her mom because she was his mistress. And he was like, I got the best of both worlds. Clearly, I got my wife, I got my mistress. I mean, what more can a man want? He got the best of both worlds. Now, some people say that Marie and Jaquez didn't have any children, but there are baptismal records that show that an entry for 2 daughters who's said to have been daughters of Marie and Jaquez. Marie Angelique Paris, who was baptized 1823, and Felicity Paris, who was baptized 1824. Now, Felicity's baptism shows that when she was baptized in 1824, she was actually 7 years old. So if she was 7 years old when she was baptized in 1824, that means she was actually born in 1817, because Marie and Jaquez got married in 1819, but I mean, they probably was dating a few years or so. But the only records of Felicity and Marie is that's it. That's just where it ends. So they mysteriously disappeared, or there's no record of what happened to these girls, where they at, how did they die, if they did. No one knows. So I guess it's still a mystery. No one will ever know if actually Marie and Felicity are daughters of Marie Laveau and Jaquez. And sadly, shortly after the whole disappearance of the 2 daughters, Jaquez disappeared. So it really make you wonder, like, okay, Marie girl, what you got going on over there? Because it ain't no record of him either. Some records say that he's deceased, but other records say that he just disappeared. He only existed for a certain amount of time, but then after that, he just gone with the wind fabulous. I mean, no record at all. So it's like, okay, Marie, did you put a spell on him? Or was he a sacrifice for something? Or was a sacrifice for the life that you were going to have after him? Well, I guess you gotta move on. Oh, moving on. And moving on, she definitely did. Because in 1826, she fell in love with Louis Christophe, or Christopher Glapion. But the interesting thing about Louis, I guess he put it down, honey, because he was from a prominent family and was also a wealthy white man who fell in love with Marie Laveau. Or did Marie Laveau put it on him and he fell in love and couldn't resist no more after that? She locked him. That's what she did. It's also good to know that during that time, interracial couples were very common, but they were forbidden to marry by law. So they was just boyfriend and girlfriend forever until, he deceased or whatever, but they wouldn't get married. The law wouldn't allow that back then. Sadly, in 1831, Catherine, which was Marie's grandmother, died, and she owed money still on her house to the bank, and the bank put her home up for auction. But, Louise was like, I gotta get my baby her house. I can't let Catherine's house just go on and get sold out of auction. So, you know what he did for his beloved Marie? He bought Catherine's house for her, and that's where Marie lived. But in June 1855, after being Marie Laveau's common-law husband, Louis died, or should I say Christophe, or Mr. Glapion. He died. The causes of his death are unknown, but he did die in 1855, and rumors are saying that they had like 20 children together within that 30-year relationship that they were in, but I think it's only reported that they only have 7 children. But y'all was getting down. I mean, even if you have 7 children, I mean, I'm not knocking it, to each his own, but Marie was like, ooh, Zay, give it to me. And he gave it to her, right? Gave her about 50 long term. Sure did. And out of all of their children, Marie Philomene Glapion, who was born in 1836, lived the longest. I think out of those children, though, 2 of them never made it. I think they died in infancy. But Marie Philomene Glapion, I'm probably saying her name wrong, but it's okay. But she lived the longest out of all the siblings. And it's also said that she became the infamous Marie II. Now, whether or not she lived up to her mother's name or not, we don't know. All right, now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. It's time to get into the mysterious stuff, that deep, dark magic shit. Like, let's get into it. Like, what kind of work did Marie Laveau do, which gave her the crown name the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans? What did she do? Marie Laveau was a hairdresser. Now, I'm not sure if she was a hairdresser before she got married to Mr. Glapion, or if this was after or during, but she was a hairdresser, and she would style the hairs of wealthy white women who would come to her with their deep, dark secrets, their affairs, their lovers, their debts, and their family secrets, and all this other stuff. I mean, they just basically spilled the tea to Marie. Marie, I need you to do my hair, but oh my God. I have to tell you what happened with Billy. Oh my God. And then also I have to tell you about my lover Joshua. So Marie was just styling and getting all the tea. And I think because she did so many wealthy white women's hair, it gave her political clout, which helped her rank high in the social world. So Marie was that bitch. She was like, come on, Sally girl, what we doing? What we doing today? What we doing? Spill the tea at the same time. Yeah, so then after Marie, I believe she was no longer a hairdresser, but she was a student of Dr. John, who was famous for his spiritual force of nature in the 19th century. And he took Marie Laveau under his wing and helped her become the Voodoo Queen that she's known for today. And so back then, Congo Square was like lit. Congo Square was where Marie held her gatherings. And Congo Square was pretty much like a community where all the people of color like came together, but it was popping on Sundays. And I believe Sunday was like, it was like a whole market thing where everybody would come and bring their goods, and Marie would sell her gree bags, and hopefully I'm saying that right. They say that during the celebrations in the Congo Square, Marie would sing, she would dance, and she would perform her spiritual celebrations where she would conjure the great serpent spirits. Clearly she was, you know what I'm saying, maybe they had like, you know, beats, drums and something, and she would just get her little thing going, and she would just, you know, conjure up whatever spirit she needed to conjure up for her own celebrations. You know, Marie was out there doing the dang old thing. She was showing them in the streets how to do it. Now, Congo celebrations was a weekly thing that happened on Sundays, but once a year, called St. John's Eve, was where everybody who practiced voodoo would come together at the Congo Square and practice voodoo together. Now, what did they do in these little practices, you want to know? Well, they would do ritual bathings in sacred waters and also like community bonfires. And yes, if you want to know, Marie Laveau did also lead the voodoo practice celebrations. So not only did she lead the Congo Square community celebrations on Sundays, but yes, she was the leader of the voodoo practices as well. Now, it is said that during these little voodoo practice celebrations that there was a lot of naked dancing and orgies around the fires. So they was dancing, shaking, and gyrating, and also bumping and grinding. I mean, if that's how they was getting down in the voodoo practice celebration, that's just how they was getting down. But that's what they say was going on. But I mean, unless you was there, how do you know what was going on? Clearly, they liked the way that Marie Laveau led the voodoo practice celebrations because she was the Voodoo Queen for a quarter of a century after that. But sadly, she died June 15th, 1881, just short of her 80th birthday. Sad. Most of my research says that no one knows how she died, but she died in her cottage before the age of 80. So that's the story of Marie Laveau. Now, her tomb is in New Orleans, and it is one of the most visited tombs in New Orleans in the cemetery. And people like do rituals to her tombs, and you know, some people vandalize her tombs. I mean, not everybody loved Marie Laveau. I mean, you have to grow enemies at some point, but that's the story of Marie Laveau. If you know any other information, please feel free to comment down below and tell me, because like I said, this is just my opinion from my research on what I've done on Marie Laveau. So if you guys love this series and you love this story time, make sure you give this a thumbs up and comment down below if you want me to drop another story. And if you know of a story that you would like for me to talk about, put that story down in the comment section below too. So thank you so much for watching, tuning in, and until the next time, the next story, TheeMuses signing out.